Well, hello, friends. Those of you in your small groups, or perhaps you're just sitting outside far away from everybody, near a Starbucks somewhere. So glad to be with you. Dick Foth here, and we're looking at the themes that we spoke to this past weekend, and we want to speak into that, or speak that into your groups, and just sort of think about some of these ideas. We're looking at Acts 15. And the theme that I spoke to was called Worlds Apart, How Do We Get to Unity? And the idea is that we are probably more fragmented in this country at this moment than certainly we've ever been in my lifetime over all the things that I don't need to reiterate to you. When you're far apart, how do you get together? That's the thought. Well, the text in talking about the church in Antioch this week is almost providential, maybe it is providential, to sort of grapple with how do we do that? And I have several questions in the outline that I put forward, and I won't go to those questions particularly. But here's one question that I'd like you to consider in your group. What are the things in your arena, and your arena could be your home or your work, if you get to it, and other kinds of things. What are the things in your arena that you feel keep you apart from other folks? You say, well, that's a little personal question. Yeah, it's a personal question, but I'm not asking you to share the deepest, darkest things. I'm just saying, what are some of those things? The second thing is, so who in your life, this is a big theme of what I spoke about this past weekend, who in your life was an advocate for you? Who in your life was an advocate? Someone who spoke up for you or spoke into you. Sometimes you need somebody to be an advocate for you, with you. When I was 6 years old, I started to stutter. And I stuttered all the time till I was 28. And when I was a senior in college, there was a pastor in a congregation in Oakland, California that was putting on this big deal for young people who were Jesus followers all across the Bay Area, San Francisco and San Mateo and Oakland and the East Bay as well as the West Bay. And he said, Dick, I would like you to come and be the MC for this gala, what they called a gala. And they had special music and all of that. And I said, Pastor Schock, I don't think I can do that. He said, why? You're student body president here at this college. I said, well, I stutter, and when I'm in front of people, I do it more. When I'm just talking naturally or with friends, I don't do that. And he just looked at me, put his hand on my shoulder and said, you can do this, Dick. I am not worried 1 minute about whether you can do it. As it turns out, I could do it. Scared the bejeebers out of me, but I could do it. So who have been the advocates in your life? Talk to your group about that person and how they did that, how they spoke on your behalf or lifted you up by their encouragement. Another question, and that's sort of a core question, but another question that I would toss out to you is this. We talk about the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit, and this text talks about the Holy Spirit a lot, but this text frames it both in terms of the prophets speaking and in terms of things that happened a few years back and happened in this moment and were happening in the room as they were speaking. But we live in a scientific age where scientific methodology is king. If you can't measure it, it can't be real. So I'm saying, so how many quarts of the Holy Spirit do we have here? How many foot-pounds worth of Holy Spirit here? How many ergs, if you're into, I don't even know what that means, but I read it when I was in science. How much of that do we have? Well, this isn't about quantity, I think, as much as it is about availability. It's about, are we sensitive and open to the working of the Spirit in our individual lives and in our group And what might that look like? What might that work out to be? In this text, the Holy Spirit is at work to help the teenage church, because this was a young church, 15 years old probably, to help the teenage church become mature and give access to the entire world. The key thing at Antioch was, you see this map up behind me. We're over in this part of the map, if I have my directions right. And the word about Jesus would never have gotten probably from this side of the map to that side of the map had the Gentiles, the non-Jewish people, not had a chance to have access to Jesus. So the fourth question is, I talk about access a fair amount, and I talk about us being able to access things. And part of the challenge today is that there are groups of people that don't feel like they have access to resources of one kind or another. I would frame the question for your group this way. What is it in how we speak to the Lord or have devotion with Him that allows Him easy access to our deepest needs? Just think about that. I'm not even sure how to tell you to speak about that with each other, but I'm just going to put it out there and let it lay there, if you will. So I am so pleased that you're tuning into this, and I'm so pleased that you're taking the time to be together. That's what Acts 15 is about. How do we be together at table in ways that are profound and end up being eternal? So God bless you as you're together. Have a sandwich or whatever, eat one for me. Bless you. Bye-bye.